I had to get out of there. The people, the noise, the walls, everything had begun to close in on me. That's why I called you, and that's how I got here, standing outside in the shadows with nothing but the muted sounds of the events inside as the soundtrack to my life. The fresh air fills my lungs, curing some of the fuzziness in my head as I try to remember when this all stopped being enough. I'm not sure when I realized you can't pack your problems in a bowl to smoke them away, or swallow down painful memories with the 100-proof bottle, but the truth of this has bubbled up from my stomach and purged itself from my system along with everything else I ate or drank today. After managing to slip into the bathroom to clean myself up, I move furtively back out the door. I begin to make my way towards the front, but pause at the window to study their happy. The self-centered thought crosses my mind, wondering whether I should be relieved or offended that no one seems to notice my absence. I look at the people, my people. The self-appointed DJs arguing over what song to play next, while two girls sit in the corner drunkenly spilling secrets along with drinks, in an attempt to have a heart-to-heart neither of them will remember in the morning. One group of people centered around a table cheer on a guy who has beer dripping from his chin in an attempt to win an intense game of Flippy Cup. The responsible one of the evening tucks her friend in on the couch, who's lying on her stomach with one hand in the trash can. It dawns on me that I've been every single one of them at some point in time, and this thought makes me feel like a cliché. My stream of consciousness is interrupted by the distant crunching of leaves, reminding my feet that there's an end goal to this endeavor. Before my mind has time to catch up to the rest of my body, I'm halted by the scene of two recognizable figures crawling into the backseat of a car. My face matches the brick of the wall I'm clutching, crumbling and falling because I can't help but feel sorry for the girl, knowing that no matter how much meaningless sex she has, it's not going to change the fact that she's in love with someone else. Her resolve will fade as fast as the fog on the windows, and she'll still feel like shit. Two blinding headlights come to rest on me, destroying any subtleness I was wishing for. Approaching the source of my plight vehemently, the cool of the door handle is a nice contrast to the heat I feel in my cheeks for witnessing something I shouldn't have. Ordering me around would normally be something that pisses me off, but tonight when you tell me to get in your car, I'm okay with it. The roar of the engine starts me up as you ask me where I want to go. I reply, I don't care, maybe a little too coldly, but if you mind, you don't make it known. As you take me on a route I've never been, I turn to examine your profile. The way the city lights define your features and glimmer off your scruff evokes the idea that there's something so romantic about them. I've never felt more at home than I do under the glow of a street lamp. I live my life by the rule that you don't need romance in order for life to be romantic. But right now I can't help but question, would it be so awful if we kissed? Because I've never felt more alive than I do here with you. Combing through the waves of my overthinking brain, my mind drifts briefly to a darker place. One not lit by the beautiful luminescence of nightlight. I think about the guy who isn't here, and I hate myself for it. I think about how he wants to be with me, but love is sacrifice, and neither of us are willing to do that with our dreams. I think about how ironic it is that before I wasn't ready to tell him I love him because I couldn't love myself enough, and now I can't because I love myself too much. I think back to her telling me she still loves me, she just doesn't like me anymore. I think about how they're not disappointed, they just believe I can do better. I think about all these negative circumstances in my life, and just when losing hope seems as definite as changing my last name, I pull myself back to the present. I curse myself for risking ruining this enchanting speck of time, and all these concerns that clutter my senses are swept away in a fleeting second. Looking over at you again, I finally understand what Charlie meant when he said he felt infinite. The bass pounds from my temples into my head, shaking up my thoughts as the song Lost It to Trying plays, and I wonder if we could be driving in a real paper town. Because only a moment as undiscovered and flammable as this could be written on such. So while you spark your Bic to light one up, I worry you're capable of setting this whole thing on fire, causing it to disappear in one puff. I realize, though, that John Green doesn't write my life. I do.